All right, so moving on to principle number 7 here, is having a pleasing personality. Now, as far as having a pleasing personality, I think that's hard because I think we all like to think that we have just a sensational personality. And so I know for me, I kind of have to audit myself and say, well, what are my attributes that I do well? What do I not do well? Mm-hmm. So for me, like I am extremely focused, and I do not require motivation, food, water, sleep. I can just go. I'm like a block of wood or something. I don't know. I don't require a lot of that stuff. But at the same time, I don't give a lot of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So the idea of buying someone lunch, the idea of talking to somebody at work, the idea of going out for a beverage, the idea of encouraging somebody, to me is foreign. Because I don't need it. So I think, well, why would you need it? Yeah. So Napoleon Hill writes, no slovenly, careless person can become a successful leader. Leadership calls for respect. Followers will not respect a leader who does not grade high on all the factors of a pleasing personality. And I guess to give you an example of that, I see a lot of times where you'll hire a guy who has super talent, whether it be a videographer, a salesperson, somebody cutting hair, whatever business that I'm involved in on the ownership level, you have a super talent there, or a business I'm coaching with, somebody's really awesome at something, but their personality's terrible. You know, they're negative, they're caustic, they're not encouraging. There's something going on there, something weird. But it's not just them, it's me too. We all have a personality quirk or an issue or a failing. So if somebody, is struggling to develop a pleasing personality, I mean, if they look at this list and they go, gosh, that's something I do struggle with, what would you encourage them to do to develop a more pleasing personality? Mm-hmm.
Well, I think number one, a lot of times the non-pleasing personality is simply coming from a person that doesn't value people, doesn't value the human element of the work, but they value much more the production or the task. That's where they're focused. And so they kind of look over the person and into the production, if that makes sense.
So a lot of leaders are looking over the human element.
Exactly. Okay. Happens a lot. And for me, as I began to grow as a leader more and more, I became a little too human focused and forgot about the production. And so a lot of times now what I do to help people just in becoming more human focused is, again, first of all, think of the human, make eye contact. It makes a huge difference just to make eye contact. Throw in a smile, all right? And when they say something to you, repeat back to them what they just said so that they can hear that you understand.
Now, one thing that I was told as a young leader trying to grow my business, and this was a really fun task that I was given. One of my mentors told me. He said, write out all the character traits of a pleasing personality. And so I wrote, somebody who's nice. I wrote somebody who smiles a lot. I wrote somebody who's a hard worker. And I made all this big list of all these things that people should do, I thought, well, a good boss is, and I was describing all these things a great boss does. A great boss is a great trainer. A great boss is organized, and I'm writing all these things. Well, then the mentor, he kind of slaps me upside the head and says, now rate yourself on that, A through F. A being you're great at that area, F being you're terrible. And I had never done that. So I'm going through and I'm like, smiles, that's an F, maybe an F plus. Nice, F. Hard worker, A, got that all day. Trainer, I was like, I didn't train people. I would just yell at people for not doing it well. Right. And then being organized, I'm like, I got about a B here. And he's like, well, until you're an A in all those areas, you can't expect anyone to want to follow you. And I just thought, oh, so simple. But I mean, I think that's the one thing we can all do. We could write down a list of all the character traits that we think are present in a great leader, and then ask ourselves kind of where we're at on those, maybe a little bit. Now, I want to ask you this here and I'm going to give you this pen because you are a former teacher, and I feel like you need this. Yes. So I'm going to switch you seats.
Ooh, I feel I'm going to switch you.
I'm switching you. That's what I'm doing here. This is it's like the halfway point where we switch there. So
halftime.